Obviously, the Fort Hood shootings dominated our talk on Bud Hedinger Live on this edition this morning on the 50,000 watt front porch. And thank you for some phenomenal phone calls, particularly those of you who are in the military or who have served in the military. As we speak, there are a lot of unanswered questions. We have no idea what the motive was of the gunman who ultimately took his own life after killing 3 other people and wounding 16. Army Specialist Ivan Lopez. So we don't know what the motive is. It doesn't look like terrorism, but I'm not taking that off the table. As I say, a lot of unanswered questions as to exactly what set him off. Having said that, there are legitimate questions that we raised on the show that I want to raise here in my daily rant and rave video. And preeminent among them, this issue of whether or not we should allow our military bases to continue to be essentially gun-free zones. Nobody but the military police have any weapons. You go off to war, you've learned how to shoot a rifle, to kill the enemy, you come back here, you arrive at your home base, the first thing you have to do is give up your guns. That seems absurd to me. We've got gun-free zones. Seems like fish in a barrel for anybody who's going to go crazy with a firearm. We've seen it in this society that the mass killings almost all happen in gun-free zones. Military bases, Fort Hood twice, the Navy Yard up in Washington, and of course, tragically, in our public schools. We need to re-examine whether or not the regulations need to be changed and whether or not people who've been, well, carrying guns in war ought to be able to at least carry them for their own protection and the protection of others on a United States military base. So that's a very big issue. And also, it looks like Lopez had mental illness problems. He was being treated perhaps for post-traumatic stress disorder. He was on anxiety drugs. He had depression. We have to ask the question, should we let these guys who are traumatized by their military experience roam around freely while they are being treated? Do we bend over backwards to keep them in the mainstream, sometimes with tragic results? So, as I say, a lot of unanswered questions, but some very, very important questions we raised on the program this morning. And thank you again for joining me in the conversation. We'll stay on the Fort Hood story. That's what I think. What do you think? Join me for the next edition of Bud Hedinger Live right here on News Radio 102.5 WFLA. I'll look for you then.